Shalom, Akim, all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim, Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone. Citation to you, Akim, doing the work in true sincerity. This is the copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances made for fair use for the purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit educational or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. I'm going to play a few videos and get a couple scriptures. This is breaking news.
That this confrontation is now headed for the world, already rippling far beyond Latin America. Moscow was among the first capitals to respond, and its words were sharp, deliberate, and unmistakable. Calling the U.S. action armed aggression, Russia has drawn a red line around sovereignty, escalation, and global stability. As confusion deepens in Caracas, the diplomatic and military fallout is accelerating. Russia reacted swiftly and forcefully. In a rare early morning statement, Moscow accused the United States of committing an act of armed aggression against Venezuela, condemning the strike and warning that escalation could spiral beyond control. The Russian Foreign Ministry rejected Washington's justification outright, calling it untenable. Moscow said ideological hostility had overtaken diplomacy and that trust, predictability, and pragmatism had been abandoned in favor of force. Russia urged all sides to step back. Dialogue, it said, must replace military pressure. Moscow reaffirmed its position that disputes, no matter how severe, must be resolved through negotiation, not bombardment. The message was pointed. Latin America must remain a zone of peace. Venezuela, Russia said, has the right to determine its own future, free from external military interference. Moscow declared its solidarity with the Venezuelan people and voiced support for the country's Bolivarian leadership, framing the crisis as a test of sovereignty, not just for Venezuela, but for international order. Russia also backed calls from Caracas and regional leaders for an emergency session of the UN Security Council, signaling that this confrontation is now headed for the world's highest diplomatic arena. Even as statements flew, uncertainty deepened on the ground. Venezuela's vice president admitted the government did not know the whereabouts of President Nicolas Maduro or the First Lady. That admission came hours after President Donald Trump claimed U.S. forces had carried out a large-scale strike and that Maduro and his wife had been captured and removed from the country. Venezuela's defense minister moved quickly. Vladimir Padrino ordered a full deployment of the armed forces, confirming attacks on multiple sites and calling on troops to stand firm and carry out presidential orders. Russia's embassy in Caracas says it remains operational, in constant contact with Venezuelan authorities and Russian citizens. Moscow reports no casualties among Russian nationals, for now. But the warning stands. From Moscow's view, this is no isolated strike. It is a dangerous precedent, one that risks dragging the region and the world into deeper confrontation.
The Bolivarian National...
So basically what he's saying is, hey, this could lead to war, specifically World War III. It's another move by the U.S. Jewish President Trump, to take over the world. Here's another video.
The United States has captured the Venezuelan leader and his wife, have flown them out of the country. At this point, we do not know where they are, but the U.S. Attorney General has announced that they are facing charges. So if we start here with some of the latest video that we have showing what took place in the Venezuelan capital very early this morning, just the third day of the year. We know that there were at least 7 explosions. both in the capital city, but then also in 3 surrounding Venezuelan states. The Venezuelan government claims that a number of people have been killed and injured. They have not provided numbers. They have not provided proof of that either. It would seem, though, that those U.S. forces encountered little resistance. In terms of how this played out, we are still awaiting more details. And of course, we hope to get some of those when we hear from U.S. President Donald Trump coming up at 11 a.m. Eastern Time when he speaks from Mar-a-Lago. But I do want to bring you some of the latest that we've heard from the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, because she has posted on social media saying that the pair of them, so Nicolas Maduro and his wife, will soon face the full wrath of American justice on American soil in American courts. Remember that Nicolas Maduro was indicted by the U.S. on a number of charges in 2020, and a $50 million reward was placed on his head for his capture and his conviction. At the time, though, there were no charges against his wife, so it would seem that there is now a new indictment against.
So there you have it. Last video.
Welcome back. We are joined by Professor Jeffrey Sachs to discuss the U.S. attack on Venezuela and the kidnapping of its president, Maduro.
So these are the scriptures I wanted to get. First is Exodus 21:16, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. That is basically America for you. And this will be another key factor leading to the next world war. You know, on the side here, I see another video here. And you basically see the title of it: Russia, China, Venezuela triad to attack U.S. Russia, China, and Venezuela have ties to each other. So this act that the U.S. Jewish President Trump did is basically to provoke Russia and China. You know, it basically saying, F you, we taking this over, you know. So, and that's why I played that first video where Putin is like, look, y'all better come to this talking table and release that man, or it could escalate into something else. So, and this is my last scripture. This is Matthew 24:4, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am anointed, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye not be troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Now, I read this because the end is not yet. We ain't in World War III just yet, because we have one more major prophecy that's got to happen first. And we all know that's the MOTB. So this is another major thing that's happened. Another major hit in the escalation to World War III. However, we know the MOTB is going to happen next. But with that MOTB, World War III is probably going to follow like hot behind its tail. They're going to come damn near at the same time. But, you know, this is just breaking news, and I wanted to get this out there. So, with that, I'm say Shalom. All praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutation to you, I can do in the work of truth, sincerity. Till the next time, Shalom.